Guys, welcome to episode 76 of the Glasgow PT podcast / show. It's another client hot seat. We have a fantastic superstar, rock star client, Michelle here. Do you like my intro? There she is laughing. If you're watching on YouTube, don't forget to subscribe and comment in the box below. Michelle.
Hello.
How are you?
Hi, I'm alright. How are you?
Yes, very well. It's Michelle, Cheryl and I in the hot seat.
It is.
Hello, say hello, Cheryl.
I was waiting for you to stop talking. Hi, Michelle.
Hi, Cheryl.
So, just like the previous hot seats, we've had Andy, Caroline and Claire. We now have another superstar client. So, Cheryl, we just wanted to have this wee chat with you today because you've obviously been through a really good journey, a few ups and downs. But we kind of just want to talk about how you feel just now, how you feel your journeys went, not just with us, just in general, just in life. And also just to, the number one thing is to inspire people, to get people to watch this and go, right, that kind of is where I'm at just now, or kind of where I was and now I'm back down again. And just to kind of get people to either take action with their life, their goals, whatever it may be, and just inspire people. Right?
Yeah.
So I've already asked you a couple of questions.
Cool, aye.
You've obviously seen the questions, well, no lie, right?
Aye.
You've seen the questions, but they're just questions that are coming straight for your life. So, number one, what was your health and fitness like before you started with us? And what had you tried before? And if it didn't work, why do you think that was? So what have you tried? Like, I know you have been through various diets. So let's go back to the start, if you can, and remember, and tell us all about it.
So I have pretty much tried everything. First, Slimming World, did that for about a year and I lost about 3.5 stone. Came off that because I went on a girls' holiday at Iron Napa, just went a bit mad, came back, and before I knew it was like 5 stone was back on.
Right.
Then I went on to Herbalife, did that, didn't work. So I was like, right, what else could I try? Cambridge, tried that. Back to Slimming World, back to Herbalife, back to the Cambridge, and then back to Slimming World again. Probably about 7 times I've done Slimming World, but every single time I went back to Slimming World, it just didn't work. So I don't know if it's one of the things the first time you go and it works straight away for you, but when I kept going back, it just never. So then I tried just doing like MyFitnessPal, trying it for myself. A girl in my work at one point, she was trying to work out macros for me, saying, look, this is what you could do. But again, it just never stuck. So kind of like reached out and tried to get something else. And that's when I came to use to.
Aye, cool. So obviously we've now got hindsight to think back. And obviously you can compare it to what we do with you, like nutrition and training wise and everything in between. But what do you think, like, obviously you mentioned there Slimming World gave you that initial loss because, I might be wrong, but let's face it, you went from doing nothing to doing something. So that's kind of why you get a loss, isn't it?
Yeah.
I know that you were my inside source. You gave me a lot of information for the Slimming World series, so you told me a lot of the stuff that I mentioned in the show. But looking back at it now, can you think of the red flags that were there that you maybe should have noticed at the time? Like, what was did you just restrict stuff? Did you, because everybody does Slimming World a wee bit different, didn't they? They kind of go, I'm going to eat hundreds of bread and potatoes in.
Yeah.
And some people go, I'm going to weigh myself till the fucking cows come home. Where were you at with that? Like, was there different stages of Slimming World for you every time you tried it kind of thing?
The first time it was mentally, like, every morning I went on the scales and like one morning I'd lost like 2 pounds, then the next morning I'd put on 3, then it was like 2, then it went up and down like a yo-yo. So it was like mentally, like it just like affected me. And then it was like I wasn't like weighing my food, so say like my carbohydrates, like you can eat them until you want, like basically. So see now knowing that actually you can't, it's clear as day. And one thing as well, they'll say, oh, body magic, like they encourage you to do body magic. Body magic's a walk. You can't exercise on Slimming World, and see if MD says that you can, they're lying.
Right.
Because immediately that week where you go and you step in the scales, you've put on weight, it doesn't matter because you just have, like obviously muscle weighs heavier than fat. So exercise was a big thing because the first time when I had went, I was quite like going to the gym, doing MetaFit and stuff, and I could see it in my shape, but then when I was going to the class, I just wasn't losing anything. So that's when it started to become disheartening. I was like, fuck this, I'm not doing it anymore. And then I just packed it on and
And they blamed that on exercise, didn't they?
Aye,
Like if you'd
they
put on weight, they'd say it's
definitely.
because you've exercised.
try and reduce what you're doing, like physically.
Aye. So you say that, I think you're like probably just playing it down a wee bit there in terms of this, you felt disheartened. How did you actually feel? Do you remember moments where you're like, I know it'll be hard to think back, but there must have been frustration like mad, because let's be honest, it's like that sunk cost fallacy where you've invested not so much money, I mean it's relatively speaking into it money wise, but you invested so much time, effort, telling people you're on a diet. So what was the biggest frustration like? Because what led you to no reaching out sooner to somebody like us or whatever? Was it just because you felt that's where you belonged, or was it like with those people? Is that the kind of...
I just kind of wasn't in a place where I used to like look at PTs and stuff. Like I didn't follow them on Instagram. Like it's just something that was never really like at the forefront of everything. Whereas like when I was going on to, like I'd made an Instagram page, like a Slimming World one, and it was like all the food inspo and all that. And see, thinking back to it now, I'm like, what the hell was I doing? And all these people I followed were like Slimming World people, whereas now it's the complete opposite. And I'm like, it's all like PTs and stuff because they actually show you nutrition in the right way.
Yep.
Like informative information rather than just
definitely.
telling you what you can kind of do.
So that's kind of where I was going with that, because it's funny how you see your surroundings, like where what you base yourself around, you bought into something,
Yeah.
which at the time you actually thought, because you got that loss of weight, and it's something I talked about in the Slimming World series, when you put it back on, it's never Slimming World's fault.
No,
You always
no.
think it's yours. You always think it's yours. So when you look at that now, you surrounded yourself with Slimming World people. I mean, you even made an account with them in it. So I guess what I'm trying to do, and I'm not trying to steer people away from Slimming World that are in that moment right now, but you create that environment that you're in. It's the same as when you're at your classes. I mean, you get a high five if you lose 2 pounds. You get looks if you don't lose anything. So how did that like environment impact you, like compared to now? So when you come in here and you see people deadlifting heavy, and how's the comparison there?
It's, I don't even know how to explain it. It's like you go into Slimming World and you sit in a circle and you're on these, like, it's like the woman's like standing, and I'm not even going to say what I was going to say there. But
Say after this.
Aye, I'll say it.
You kind of said it anyway.
And it's like, oh, Michelle, you had a gain this week. How do you feel? And then everybody's like, oh, but next week it'll be fine. And it's just like,
So patronising.
see, now I'm just like, who do they actually think they are to speak to somebody like that? And it's not even like it's like a Slimming World like woman behind the desk. It's like lassies for the class that are sitting taking your weight and all that. So they know exactly what you are and like what you're doing. Like it's judgy. It's definitely judgy. Whereas you come in here and it's like everybody's the same and we're all the same. It's such a good like group we've got, and I've like made best pals for life through it. And it's all because we're on the same kind of like mindset.
Aye.
Completely different.
Yep.
Nobody judges you, and it's just like chalk and cheese.
Aye. And I think that's just part of like anybody listening or watching, just try and look into the 5 or 6, that whole thing about who they spend 5 or 6 people around about you. Are they picking you up, like, or is it all just a bit of smoke and mirrors? Do you know what I mean? Because you're quite annoyed now that you never saw those red flags. Do you know what I mean? But it just what happens. Like, I think we've all been there at some stage with different parts of our life, whether it be work, fitness. But it's just again, this is why I'm doing these. I wanted you in the day was to inspire people to make that step and demand more for their peer group or people run about them, because making you feel shite like that on a Tuesday night or whatever night, it just isn't right.
Nah.
So if you're feeling like that now, then it's time to do something about it. So
It's not that you're starving, like you starve yourself before you go to the class.
All
so,
those tricks.
So that
So
you
you-
can
so you're
you're
lighter,
lighter on the
basically.
scales.
Aye.
See, now if I did, I couldn't do that.
Aye.
Like I'm pure like in a routine now, but I need my porridge by a certain time, and I just couldn't do it. I don't know how I did it. Like,
Yep.
It's
But
crazy.
there's people still doing it, Shell,
Aye.
right now. Do you know what I
But
mean?
I've done that.
Aye.
I think what you said as well about you never really followed PTs and stuff like that. I feel like maybe 5-6 years ago, having a PT wasn't a big thing. Or if it was, not a lot of people knew. Because when I first contacted Chris to get PT'd, I didn't really feel like it was a thing. So I felt like I was doing something different.
Yeah.
So it probably was the fact as well that you just didn't really know where else to turn.
Aye, it
Slimming
wasn't
World
really
has always been
advertised.
Because
exactly.
that's one of the biggest strengths that Slimming World had years ago was they had places you could go, they had banners up, they were in churches, they were in community halls.
Yeah.
So whereas now, the voice that they had with everybody puts SW at the end of their Instagram. Instagram is noisier now with PTs. So we're actually winning the battle in terms of this is knowledge, this is education. So that's why.
Yep.
You know, there's no longer these places where they can have their wee tribe and fill your head with shite. Now it's like you saw me in the show thing with the Slimming World episodes. I had the book, just held it and read it. So that's available now. Let's say you're able to see it. So, and I've had interesting conversations with a Slimming World lassie who's still doing Slimming World. She is probably the most objective Slimming World person I've ever seen because she knows about her flaws. She watched the full series and fed back to us. She likes doing it for the fact that she wants to lose weight. She's identified certain areas that aren't right, but if only more of them were like her. Because the only thing that I think Slimming World have gone from is their food inspo and the fact that they get people to cook, which is what you use in the community group constantly. Because I said that, like, they basically use Taste and Nom and all that, Pinch and Nom, and all that kind of stuff. And we want food inspo. People need food inspo. They need inspiration with food. It's not about giving people calories. So we extracted that for Slimming World and we try and do it in our group, didn't we?
Yeah.
All the time.
See, the thing as well with Pinch of Nom, like, obviously that was a big Slimming World thing and it gave you the sins and whatever else. That's not even allowed to use the Slimming World stuff anymore, so it's not allowed to class it as sins, and that's all calorie based.
Yep.
So do you know what
They've
I mean?
moved on.
Aye. So
They've realised
Aye.
they've detached themselves from that, those words and those things like that.
Definitely.
So tell me a wee bit about how you'd want to sit here and talk about COVID, right? But tell me a wee bit how the pandemic sort of affected. You've went from working in the office, leading a team of people, to now kind of not really in the office. Did you didn't want a week then or 2 a week?
I'm not in anymore.
You're not going at all?
No.
Aye, so you've went for like working in the office, where leading a team of people, commuting to work and all that, to now you're one of the most avid class goers. You've shifted to Zoom, right? Which, I'll be honest, Shell, that probably suited you because you never knew about the gym. You never took that leap to get coaching.
Yeah.
So me and Cheryl use you as when we're trying to plan stuff, we use you as a benchmark, didn't we?
Aye, definitely.
Like Shell will benefit for that. Would she no benefit for that? We use you as that kind of thing because you soak up everything that we offer. Do you know what I mean? So it's funny how you went from the classes you loved to you got a sense of what happened in here, deadlifts, squats, stuff that you said you would turn and go, I'll never do that. To now back to the classes again, which you're going back to do it, you will. So how's all that affected you, like in the last couple of months, like gone from that to that? And if you noticed new passions, have you noticed stuff that you actually like doing? Even, and also work life, like how's that been while balancing your fitness goals?
I think with the first like pandemic, I just knew I was like, I need to like do something. I can't just sit in this house 24/7. It's like mentally draining, and I'd end up huge. So I seen your promotion thing for the online, so I contacted you, but I think this was like the third time I contacted you because you've been so full before. And I thought, you know what, if I don't do it now, I'm never going to do it. And I was just like, go for it. And that was it. And the online classes, they were a godsend. Like, and I know some people like think that they don't want to do it, they've not got the motivation. But honestly, say if you just get up off your arse and get it done, what a difference it makes to your day. And I was doing like two a day sometimes, and then obviously when the gym opened, I was like, oh, do I even want to join? Because I don't know what I'm doing, and I thought it would be more advanced people, and it's like the complete opposite. And I absolutely love it. I don't even think I would go back to like no going to a gym. Do you know that way? Like obviously I don't feel confident enough to do it on my own, but I think that just the gym in general is amazing.
Yep.
I absolutely love it, and it works so well for me because I can come at 6 a.m. before I start work, and then it set me up for the day, and like I'm in a completely different mindset. Like altogether, my mindset's completely changed.
Aye.
So
Like
it is.
even going for, obviously we don't have the gym now, so it's back to doing home workouts again over Zoom and classes over Zoom and stuff. But I don't even think that's been an issue for you at all, because you thrived so much on that the first lockdown, and you made such a massive change.
Yeah.
Chris has shared your transformation for that first lockdown a few times because of how amazing it was.
Yeah.
So I think a wee bit of you actually loves that because of that reason as well.
Aye.
But just going for in the gym like twice a week was, then however many times on your own as well, to like you going back to jumped about your living room is some people's idea of absolute hell, but you actually love it because
I do.
you just know that it gets you moving,
Aye.
like, and it's better than doing nothing.
And the lassies and obviously Kenny as well, the people that have been doing it, like they're absolutely brilliant. And I know like there's some people in the group and they just maybe they don't have the time, or they just don't want to, or they're nervous or whatever. You can turn your cameras off, like you don't even need them on. But the classes are so good.
Yep.
They really are. It's some timetable.
Aye. Well, this is the thing, Shell, right? And there's a recurring theme here, and I posted something like this last week. You've done Slimming World, right? And it's got its flaws. We look back at that now and we go, what, I missed those red flags. But you've done it, you stuck to it, you showed up, you weighed yourself, you followed protocol, and then you came here. Lockdown 1 hit, you goes, I need to do something this lockdown or my sanity's at risk. You came to all the classes. You then signed up here, which is the next step, which was, I don't know if I could do that. I don't know if I could be in with those people that have weight trained before. You came in, you stuck to that. You want another session on top of your current. And then we're back in lockdown again. And now you're saying you're back on the classes again.
Yeah.
So the current theme here that people can take away for that is, regardless of the situation, it's no ideal. It is ideal. You're showing up and doing it. And people need to take that away for that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
This doesn't feel right, but I'm still going to fucking do it. This class, I'm not a big fan, but I need to do it because I need to tick this off in my head so that I'll make better decisions with my food today and get away from my desk and stop talking about banking, whatever I need to talk. And that's the difference between people who don't make that step and somebody like you.
Yeah.
Which is worth noting. And I don't think you give yourself enough credit for that. Because even if you do Slimming World and you do it religiously, guess what? You're doing something religiously.
Yeah.
All we need to do is fine tune it and maybe decide what you're doing better. Do you get what I mean?
Is that what the consistency again?
You're consistently
It
doing
is, it's
something.
just
Like if you're shite at darts and I tell you hit the bullseye, if I give you enough darts, and I know you'll keep throwing darts until you hit the bullseye.
Yeah.
Some people won't. They'll go, I don't know how to play darts. No, I'll throw a couple. I can't play darts. Whereas you're like, fuck it, I'll throw it and I'm shite at it, but I'll do it until I land. And now you've landed in a position where you're like, I've got people around me that I like. I'm doing stuff. Okay, I know that my goals are going to take time, but I'm going to keep trying and I'm going to adapt to whatever the life throws at me.
As Casey, obviously, been working from home, and I was consistently sitting at my desk working, and some days I was like, oh, I'll just quickly go down and grab like a bite to eat and then go back up to my desk, and you're sitting in front of a screen for about 9 hours a day, and I'm not taking breaks or nothing, like, and it's really no good for you. But I was very much like, before I'd obviously joined with you guys, I was so like work orientated, and like that was at the front of my mind all the time. And see now I'm not, like my mindset's totally changed.
Yep, because it's you.
Completely changed. Like I was always like, oh, I need to do that. I need to be the best, like the best at this. I need to be the best at that. Like very, very in control of my job. And see now I'm just like, it is what it is.
Yep.
Like if I finish when I finish and don't start early, like.
Right.
I think a lot of people do that, didn't they? They mask work as their approval in life, when really what they're doing is probably masking how they feel, their health, their fitness, and they use that as an excuse to go, no, this is what I'm putting everything into. And I do believe there's obviously a point in your life where you have to climb the ladder of whatever to get promoted, but it comes at a price, as you knew. It came at a price of you sitting on your arse for 9 hours a day and no telling yourself you need to go a walk. But the people on the other end of the screen were like, Shell's doing well, she can be considered. Do you know what I mean? When really it was like, at what price? So that's absolutely spot on. I think there's people listening to this that will be the exact same. They're prioritising their work over their health and fitness, and they're probably saying, oh, but I'm doing well with work. I mean, after that, like, first lockdown, you came on board and then a ton of people came on board, and I was like, fuck. And I was at the computer. I got the Mac and I sat and I just didn't. And my health suffered. Started gaining fat because normally I did 10,000 steps on the gym flare. Didn't do any steps. Not a big walker, and I was like, oofed, I need to start walking here. So I was the same, and work it propelled. But Cheryl's my accountability. If I'm prioritising work too much, and if I say to her, no, I'm not going to walk, that's when it's like you've just accepted that.
Yeah.
So I need to get up and go a walk. So it's just having somebody there where it's a group of people in it.
Or I'm like, my dinner's not ready, so get in that kitchen and make it.
Right, so what are your goals now or whenever it returns to normal, you can get a real good run at it. What are you thinking?
Just like continue doing what I'm doing. I don't really have a goal in mind. I just want to get fit and healthier and feel good about myself.
Yep.
I definitely feel better about myself than I did. I've got a long way to go, I know that, but I'm definitely doing the right thing.
Aye.
And I just want to stay focused, and I will be here consistently when it opens back up, just because I do love it, and I love coming in with the girls and like Shannon and stuff, like I'm with her all the time. So I'm just going to keep doing what I'm doing, and it's good to have somebody that I can bounce off of as well, because I think the two of us were kind of in the same mindset.
Aye.
And having like one of your best pals with you keeps you like going.
Aye, definitely.
So
I think the group setup in the gym is like ideal for you as well. I think you absolutely love training with people that are a wee bit more advanced, and then we get some people that are actually beginners back to the level you were probably at before. So then I think you kind of start to see, I'm actually doing pretty well here.
Aye.
I know what I'm doing. I know how to deadlift now. I know how to squat. And then the girls that are maybe, I say a wee bit more advanced, but you're getting to that level because of how much we've been here. It pushes you as well. So I think that the group set up in the gym when it does go back to normal is just so ideal for you.
Aye.
You just love that community aspect of it. That's why you're so good in the group as well, the Facebook group, like with the nutrition stuff. But even just, you probably don't realise how big an impact you make to the girls that then come on board as well, that are back to the position you were the very first lockdown, like how you felt maybe a bit. I know you're not really kind of like anxious or kind of nervous person, but we definitely get girls that come in that are like that, and I think somebody like you in the group, they all look up to you, and I don't think you really take that on board as much as you should.
You're a beginner, like absolute beginner when you come in here. Probably the most beginner we had when we opened this gym, and yet in the community group you were the most inspirational in terms of food, in terms of how you've been, in terms of chat. That's why you've made pals. And I think people need to realise that. Do you know what I mean? You don't have to be, I can deadlift, squat this, that's me, here I am, I'm going to be part of something. Like, you can just have strengths.
Yeah.
And that's why we try and do that in the group. We try and like see yourself, Christine, Robin, Claire, Andy, Caroline, the people who post in the group, Patty, like they've all got strengths. Patty's not going to hit you up with his post calories burned and say, Shell, your turn, hen. He's gonna inspire you with food and tell you the recipe, and just gonna be a nice guy and does MD want it, and he's at the hill walking people. Do you know what I mean? They all
Doing
bring
it little, try to find me a mat.
Aye. So everybody's got their strengths, and like if somebody's sitting watching this going, I don't have any of that run about me, you need to be part of something, like especially new. It's so crucial to be part of something. Even
Definitely.
remember it like at Christmas, when it was still unclear and it was going to be a Christmas with all this going on. We had that quiz night, we had a laugh. I made some of the questions the wrong answers. Got a heavy stick for it still to this day, getting stick for that. But it's just been part of something, you know, and it's like, I'm not sitting here saying you need to be part of your group, because there's a strict process to that. You need to go through a shell first, get a Zoom call with her. But be part of something. Because even back in the day when people were at Slimming World, you were still part of something. It just got to a point where it started being bad for you than it was good for you. Cool.
Aye.
So goals are keep doing what you're doing, keep being, because you don't even, it's not an effort for you to come, is it?
No.
It's like you want to do it.
That's it. I want to do it. Alan's like to me, the fucking 5 o'clock alarm every morning. I'm like, shut up.
Shut up,
Back
I'm
to
up.
sleep.
I'm up.
I'm up. Me
I'll
and the
use
dog's up.
I'll use you as a squat while I'm up.
Aye.
Get up. Right, so quick one here. What's your favourite food?
That's easy. Well, I love pasta. Absolutely love pasta, but it's got to be chips and curry sauce. I love curry sauce.
So that would be your death row meal.
Aye.
If you're sitting about to
Anywhere.
die, chips, curry sauce.
Just chips, curry sauce?
Just chips and
What
curry.
kind of chips? Thin ones?
Doesn't matter. Like I
Any
like
chip.
them off a snack van. Anywhere. Like so
Sometimes
when
the
you go to
mankier the better.
No, a carnival. I don't go to that. But like the concerts and stuff, I think,
Aye.
oh man, they're good. That's
Just
a
as
good
long as it's got curry sauce in it, basically.
Aye. Absolutely. But pasta's up there, close.
That's-
Close second.
I wonder if anybody's ever actually made pasta with curry sauce.
If MD's going to have made it, let me
Aye,
know.
I've no. I don't know how I feel about
I know, that might just ruin it for
Pasta
you.
and tomato sauce I like.
Do you know something?
I
That's
know, I
probably
know.
my favourite food.
Aye, like an
Pasta.
arrabbiata or something.
Aye, that's probably
I
my
don't know,
favourite
man.
as
A
well.
wee curry with...
I mean, it probably, I would get a bash.
I think it would just be curry sauce you would taste.
Do you know what's pure good? And you all think I'm a minger, right? But see, coca noodles, I don't even know why I'm
Oh,
telling
aye.
you
Oh no,
this.
we've probably tried this, go tell me.
Curry coca noodles with grated cheese and curry sauce on top.
No, that sounds good.
It's
That
good.
does sound good.
A lot of protein in that.
Obviously,
Good to
when
get
you're
the
having a
protein
wee
in,
cheat day.
We had, I won't say the other day, I'll say a couple of years ago when we weren't being good. We had curry coke noodles, like the chicken strips you get for Asda, the southern fried ones,
Aye.
and mayo over
aye.
it, over the
And
curry,
sriracha.
over the
So it's like
sriracha.
Sriracha curry and mayo.
Dirty
It's
fries
amazing.
almost like
Oh, it's so
kind of
good.
idea.
That curry sauce
My
with
mouth
the
just watered.
sriracha and the meals are deadly. It's
It's so
How
amazing.
good
good,
is
innit?
that combo? It's weird, isn't
It's
it?
aye.
People,
Meal
if
with
you've never
curry
tried it,
sauce.
you need to try it because you can't explain it.
Aye.
It's sweet, sour for the curry, and then it's
It's
fucking
like
madness.
see the chili burgers for Asda. It was actually Claire that told me about it. She's like the chili burgers with cheese, onions, and curry sauce on it.
Aye, that sounds good.
My pal Natalie, she made that the other night as well. I sent her it. She's like, that's like
That's illegal.
amazing.
Aye.
You could actually sit here all day and talk about food. couldn't we?
So I'm having the night.
So we know because we've been talking about it.
Right. What's your favourite exercise? It's a tough one, isn't it?
Like,
think I know.
leg press.
Leg press.
Aye, I like that.
Why?
Because I can do it. No, no, I don't know. I
know
really
why.
enjoy
Because
it.
you're strong at
You're
it.
strong
I'm
at
strong
it.
at
Just,
it.
aye. You should own that, but like you're really strong on the leg press. Really strong.
I like that, and I like deadlifts.
Aye.
Who'd have thought you'd have said that?
I know.
You used to dread walking up to
Aye.
that bar, didn't you? You used to dread it.
Yeah.
And it's just that thing again, gaining experience and confidence with it.
And now, like, I'm trying to put my sessions around it so that I have got a week where I'm actually doing them because I like them that much.
Aye.
Aye, definitely.
That's two exercises, but
I
whatever.
hate. Do you want me to tell you what I hate?
Aye, what do you hate?
The glute drive. Absolutely hate that. But I'll do it. But it kills me.
It kills your
Aye.
hips, doesn't it? Hip bones, hip bones
so
get it.
sore.
I don't really know if you need to do much glutes anyway.
No,
Shell.
aye, I know.
I think we'll just go out there and say that.
By the way, I'd love to have that problem.
Aye. See, I should just get a free pass when it comes to that.
Just don't ever need to train my
Let's
glutes.
go. Right, so apart from Cheryl, who's your favourite coach?
Oh, it's easy. It's Claire. I'm only kidding.
I knew something was
Oh, I
coming.
love that.
I knew
I was
something was
wondering what
coming.
the answer was going to be.
No, I
But,
knew
like, what
something
could
was
she
coming.
possibly say?
I thought she was going to mention an old Slimming World coach or something.
Oh, no.
Coach.
No, I was saying Claire, but no, of course you, Chris.
Well, that's it. Just look to
accept.
camera one and say that, please.
Cheryl first.
Cut camera one. Cut camera one.
I'm putting a tenner under the table there.
So big question here, and I want you to be thorough. I know it's kind of on the spot, but and you don't have to sound like you're preaching to people or whatever else, because sometimes when you get asked something like that, you feel a bit like, who am I to say that? Do you know what I mean? It's like when I get asked stuff about like, oh, how did you build your gym? How, like, you kind of don't really know what to say because you're just kind of doing it. But there is a lot of people out there who are in the same situation that you've been in, whether it's stage 1, 2 or 3. Trust me, there is. What advice would you give someone who doesn't have a coach? I'm not saying flaunt coaching here, but just doesn't have anybody like a Shannon. Do you know what I mean? An accountability buddy,
Accountability.
people by their side. Alan, who really want to start eating healthy, but they just don't know where to start. What advice would you give them with your years of yo-yo dieting? What would you say?
I would reach out. There's loads of people on Instagram as well. I know, like, before obviously lockdown and stuff, and I'd contacted you, Chris, you were full, and you were like giving me other PTs, like recommending them and stuff. And then I'd kind of reached out to them as well, but I obviously wasn't in the mindset then because I didn't follow through on it.
Yep.
But see, if you really want something, you just need to do it and bite the bullet, contact somebody. Probably, I would say Instagram's probably the best place to find somebody around your area as well, and just ask, like, can they be your coach, or what it is you're looking for, just and see what services offer first. Don't just go jump right in and say, oh, you've got good pictures or whatever, and go there and like pay somebody for something when you don't really know much about them.
Right.
Because before, like, you told me everything that I had to know, and that's what made me on board. And Claire's transformation was unbelievable. The one for I think it was February and like the April, I think,
Challenge.
12 weeks.
The challenge.
And that was just then I was like, nah, that's that time for me to
Make
get
a
on
move.
board. And I honestly, if you want it, see, if you don't want it, your head's not in it, then don't do it, because you'll never follow through on it. You'll not be consistent.
Yep.
That's it. You won't stick to something that you
Nah.
don't really want.
No, spot on. Because I remember you messaging, and then obviously as any business, you get messages and then you don't get a reply, and then you message again. And obviously you just want the right headspace with it, and you get that a lot. And at the time you messaged, and I tried to pass you on to somebody else. It's mad to think that we might not have had Shell here at all.
I know. I didn't actually know that.
I tried to pass on. I sent her an email with just different PTs, ones that I trusted.
And then there was one I was going to go with, and you're like, don't do it.
She came up with her own one. I went, no, don't do it. Wait for me. I'll be there soon.
But do you know, it's prices as well. See if people are like advertising something, and it's like, I don't know, whatever this person was at the time, and it was cheap, and I was like, oh, here, that's pure cheap. I could whatever, and then you're like, to me, no, because it's like, I think it was like 4 week transformations.
4 week transformations, aye.
And
which
I was like,
someone who comes from yo-yo dieting does not need. She doesn't need to go from the scales being your only determination to a 4 week before and after photo being your only determination. You needed educated properly, and that's why we're sitting here today. Not because we've educated you amazingly, because we're a coach and we're educated. So you actually, and that's what I said at the very start of the podcast, you absorbed everything we throw at you. You watch the videos and you give us feedback. You tell us your honest opinion about exercises and the service. And it's because you've been educated. Because let's face it, it's not something that you do. You don't want to sit there and read why you eat a certain amount of calories. So you're right, Shell, like, price does come into it massively. And if it's too good to be true, it probably is.
See, that's the thing. And I know people probably, I don't know people's circumstances, but say somebody's advertising, like, I'm not a pure PT, like, I'm not a PT, but people do advertise things at a low cost, like, you know that, and it's just, are they doing it just to look good and to get people on board? And I'm not criticising them in the slightest, but you get what you pay for, and I stand by that 110%. Honestly,
it's like getting in it.
Aye.
Yep.
You definitely do, and I'm not just saying this because it's you too, but you wouldn't get the same kind of service for somebody that's going to charge you about, say, a tenner a session.
Aye.
Do you know what I mean?
Aye.
Definitely
I think it's
not.
right, Shell, and it's got to match up with, there's obviously something I said one day on a post where you went, right, I'm going to message him. And all that is relatability. Like, you come in here and you could talk to anyone else about your life, you have done, because we can relate to you. And I probably wouldn't, Cheryl wasn't there 3 years ago, but I probably wasn't the coach for you 3 years ago because I was probably talking shite about me being lean. Here's shredded Saturdays. Do you know what I mean? I know I posted a wee lean pic this morning, right enough, the consistency one, aye. 7% body fat. I was going to Photoshop.
On his calf.
Aye, on my calf, it was on trousers. But I probably wasn't the coach for you. And that's the same for a lot of people. Like, I'll not be the coach right now for somebody else will. But I think generally speaking, experience-wise, is it somebody that's coaching people who are your age, who have been through Slimming World and stuff like that. So it's getting the right fit. And like you said, like Shell said, she said, message them, see what they offer, see what they can do for you. Because let's face it, they're vulnerable. When you messaged me, you were vulnerable. You were in a position that you hated your body and you had fed up, man. It was yo-yo diet after yo-yo diet, and it was like, help me. So I get it, people are in these positions, and that's why they end up desperately signing up with somebody. And like you said, people have got different financial situations as well, but do your homework and ask questions and just and see who else are training and showing off. Do you know what I mean?
Aye. I think as well, see MD that's struggling like mentally, or they're just in like I don't know, maybe a dark place or a dark hole where they just think like, oh, I'm just going to lie here or whatever, no doubt about it. They're the people that need to do something and actually reach out to like a coach, because like exercise and like health wise, it's unbelievable what it does. Like, I can't believe, I think the way I used to be before I joined and how mental I was with my work. Like, just to think that I used to be like, oh my God, I need to be the best at this. Like, it's crazy and see now, and it's changed my mind.
Like a different person now.
Aye.
Definitely.
And has that negatively affected your work? No.
No. I'm still doing my job. Like, you know, like I was at risk of redundancy in December, but because I'm good at my job, I've been kept on.
So it's possible.
Aye, so I don't need to be crazy and think, oh, I need to do all this just to make myself look even better and work, do you know what I mean? So, but I think people that are struggling like mentally definitely should reach out to a coach, because it's so good for like anxiety.
Yep.
Definitely.
And there's so many opportunities. Every coach out there worth their salt is saying, ask me a question.
I was just about to say that.
And they might not have the answers because they might be a 20-year-old boy and you're a 45-year-old woman. They might not. So instead, reach out to a coach or trainer. Age is a bit, but if they're showcasing a mum of two and you're a mum of two in a dark place, like you said, he might have some answers for you. You might be able to listen, and at very least, like you say, an ear. Just somebody to say it to,
Aye.
a third party that isn't your partner, and just goes, right, here's a weird way I would look at it, and it helps. So
Aye,
spot on, Shell. It's not just here's a ton of money, help me. It's asking somebody who's in the industry to help people in it.
Yeah, definitely.
Spot on. Anything else you want to add?
No, I just can't wait to Jim's open back up.
I know. We'll get back in, but until then, just keep smashing your classes and hit us with the food
That's it.
inspo. Cheryl, anything you want to add?
No, I enjoyed that though. Good honest chat. I love it. You're
Aye.
definitely a massive inspiration. I think you need to start realising, like, I know you're a big part of the team, but you need to take on board how much people admire you in the team as well. You definitely help a lot of
do.
people.
Superstar, like, and I know I use that word a lot, but it's the truth. And that's why we think of yourself for when we're doing anything, we're changing anything, we're bringing anything in. And that's why we still run stuff past you as well. Don't we always want your opinion, mate? So, like Cheryl said, massively proud of you, and we can't wait to see what the next couple of months has in store. Guys, thanks for listening and watching. Do us a wee favour, share it in your stories, gets the podcast out there, and as you've heard, if you've watched all the way to this, it's going to help somebody. So we'd appreciate it massively, and speak to you soon. Bye, guys.